Hey guys, it's Rachel from The Little Ring Lamb, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite TV shows. So I have 11 TV shows on this list, and in a week or a few weeks, you're going to see a DVD shelf tour. So I collect a lot of TV shows on DVD. I'm not a big movie buff. I really just love having TV shows. I like spending longer time with characters and all that jazz. So basically, these are some of my favorites, and I had two criterion that I kind of ranked these from. Some of them are like really like nostalgia favorites, and these are all favorites that if they were on a TV and I was passing by, whatever episode it happens to be, I would sit down and watch it gladly and maybe go on to another episode. And also for this list, I did pick shows that have more than one season. I know some shows, like for example, I have a show called The Loop. I absolutely love that show, but it has 2 seasons, so that's not a really good example. But certain shows that only have 1 season that I really like, I didn't include because they had 1 season for a reason. I feel like they could have been developed a little bit more, but I still really liked them. This list, I do have some shows I'm still working on my shelf that I have yet to complete. Like, for example, The Nanny, which I also love that show, but I've not completed it, so I've not put it on my favorites list. And I'm going to go over basically the years it ran for, a little brief synopsis, and the reasons I like the show. Just a background information on me. I really love contemporary shows. I'm not really too much into the supernatural realm or, retellings. That's kind of my thing. Like, I've seen a lot of these lists, and a lot of people like shows like Vampire Diaries, stuff like that, and that's not what my list comprises of, just to let you know, my TV tastes kind of. So the first also this will be in no particular order because I couldn't rank these, but some of them I love more than others. The first one is one that is like in my top 3, like it's so good. And it is Beverly Hills 90210. And this is the older one. It ran from 1990 to 2000, and it chronicles the lives at first of Brenda and Brandon, and these are 2 twins from Minnesota who moved to Beverly Hills and have to fit in with their comrades, and it follows the gang from high school to university to post-grad, and it's 10 seasons long, and I've seen it like 2 or 3 times, but it's one that I started collecting kind of by myself. I was in grade 7 when I picked up the first season in the store, and obviously I didn't have a job, and I was just working for my neighbors and making like my little bit of money and stuff like that, and I'd save up so long just to get a season of this, so it's kind of like nostalgic in that sense. That took me a long time. And also when I was collecting them, not all the DVDs were like they were not all translated onto DVD yet. It was my 10th grade that the last one actually got transferred to DVD, and I basically watched these every single day after school. I'd have my saltine crackers and my hot chocolate, and every day I just watch it, and it was really good, and I rewatched a lot of it. And if you're looking to get into this show, the first season is pretty rough, especially the first episode is horrible, so don't judge it off the first episode. Give it a few episodes to really get into it. And yeah, because the first season is very rough, but I still absolutely love it. The first episode is literally probably the worst episode of TV I've ever seen in my life, but looking besides that, it's a really good show. And if I hadn't gotten DVD, I might not have really continued. Like, I probably would have continued on with it, but who knows how long. So I really like sometimes having DVDs because it kind of forces you to watch the show because, my next favorite is Downton Abbey, and this show ran for 6 seasons from 2000 to 2016. I mean, not 2000. 2010 to 2016. I know it ended, for me it ran that long, just a side note, because it's a UK show, so it airs from September to December, and they have weeks on and off. In the UK, and then it comes to Canada and the US, and I'm sure a lot of other countries that I'm forgetting, from January and February and a little bit into March. So basically this show chronicles the Crawley family. It chronicles not only them but the people that work for them, and it's set in the early 1900s. I believe that would be 1900 to I think it goes all the way up to 1929, I believe, at the end, or 1926. Something like that. But I really enjoy this show. It's a mini series, so it's very easy to get through. It's beautifully done. Anything that Masterpiece does that I've seen, it's just breathtaking. These, because DVDs sometimes, especially the ones from PBS, are quite expensive, but just Masterpiece's aesthetic alone is so beautiful. I'm it's always worth it for this. And this one I actually watched all in one day, all in a row, because it's only 7 episodes, but it's still over 7 hours. But it was just so good, and I absolutely loved it. And basically I was really saving up for these ones. I was doing extra chores for my parents so I could pay for them, because when I'm in school I don't have a job because school is my job. It takes me a while to get through homework, and I like to get really good grades, so So I was really doing extra chores trying to save up for these DVDs because they can get quite pricey, but such a good show. Definitely worth checking out. My third show on the list is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and this show ran for 7 seasons, and I believe it was 1996 to 2003. It was somewhere around that range of time. Looking at my DVD shelf, I believe it's 1996 because I organized it by year. And I absolutely love this show. It chronicles a girl named Sabrina who on her 16th birthday finds out that she is actually a witch. And it kind of takes her life from high school to college and then post-college. And I really enjoy this series. It's so funny. It's not super, like, it doesn't have too many supernatural elements. Like, it's really supernatural, but I don't know, I find it more contemporary supernatural. It's not too dark into, like, the mythology and stuff like that. It's pretty light. It is a sitcom, and I've been watching this for years. I believe I got this one again in grade 7, and I didn't have the, like, it took a long time to find the second season, and they were just really expensive, so I didn't really collect them too fast, and I watched this one about 4 times before I got the other ones, and it's just such a really good comedy. Like, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Also, I really like Melissa Joan Hart as an actress, and she's Sabrina, so. The next show is another sitcom, and it is The Game, and The Game ran for 9 seasons from, I am forgetting, I feel like it was 2004. I forget the years, but it ran basically all the way till 2015. It ended in the summer 2015. It was very sad. But it was on the CW for 3 years. I think it was 2005 to 2007 or 2004 to 2007. Anyway, it was on the CW for the first 3 seasons, and then it moved to another channel for the last 5 seasons. Or, not 5, 6. Yes, 6. My math there. And basically this life chronicles the football players and their respective partners, and it's not too much into the football thing where if you're not a football fan you won't like it, but it's enough that people who like sports, I guess, would be into it because they do talk about trades and deals, but mostly it's chronicling the relationships of others. And it's just a really good show. I absolutely adore it. I really hope the last 3 seasons come out onto DVD because I want to rewatch them because I have only seen them once, but this one is really dear to my heart because in grade 10, well, like the day before grade 10, like Labor Day, I was looking for something to watch on TV because I was kind of bored, and I flicked upon this channel and found this show, and I started watching it, and I got really hooked. And every day after school, they'd show it for an hour. Like, I think it was like 3 to 4, and I'd watch it every single day. So I've seen most of the first 3 seasons so many times, but the last 2 I haven't seen as many times because after a while they stopped airing them back to back after school, and they started airing them at, like, in the morning time when I was at school, so I couldn't watch a lot of them. But the next show is Ugly Betty, and this show was 4 seasons long, 2006 to 2010. And it chronicles Betty Suarez, and she really wants to work in magazines. It's her passion. And she one day gets hired to work at Mode, which is a high-end fashion magazine. And obviously she's a fish out of water, being not, you know, a person really interested in fashion at first. And she starts off my words just like ramble there. She starts off as an assistant editor-in-chief to the magazine head runner Danny and Daniel. Oh, I keep getting confused because I have another show I'm watching. There's Danny, and that's confusing. But basically this show is a dramedy. It's like a 40-minute show, and I really love this. The first 2 seasons I'd say are like more superior than the last 2 seasons. I prefer the first 2, but it's still such a good show, and I really just love the character of Betty. I really like America Ferrera's acting. I'm currently watching her in Superstore too, and I've seen her in quite a few things, and yeah, I just really love this show. It's just really good-hearted. Betty is such a great character. And all the people around her that work at Mode are hilarious, and her family, and it's just like a really good because comedy. It's based off a telenovela, it's in that kind of style, and it has really cool like transitions between the scenes. The color palette's really cool, the fashions are really cool. Not maybe all of Betty's because she doesn't have the best fashion sense, but still I just love how daring the fashion is because they do work at a fashion magazine. Even Betty has some pretty cool like patterns, just maybe not all wearing them at the same time. The next show I love is The Middle, and this is a show that started 2009. It's currently airing its 8th season on TV, and this one I don't hear about a lot, but it's such an underrated comedy. I feel like it gets really good ratings, and maybe it's just where I live. Like, I don't hear anybody even talk about it. I've only heard like one other, I think, YouTuber talk about this show. Like, it's not very talked about. And this show basically centers around the Heck family. There's Mike, Frankie, Axel, Sue, and Brick. And it chronicles their lives and like them growing up and living like middle class in Orson, Oregon, I believe. It's Orson. I forget the state around it. I think Indianapolis. That's not a state. Iowa. No, is it? I don't know. I'm really bad at my states. I don't live in the United States, and I keep forgetting which one's a state and which one's a city. Sorry about that. But basically, the show is hilarious. It's a sitcom. Me and my whole family absolutely love this show. It's like the best like comedy I'd say right now on TV. Like for me personally, it's so good. It's like every episode I watch, like it hasn't even gone down in quality. I feel like it's consistently stayed the same, which I really enjoy, because like I love it just as much as I did the first time. Like I haven't felt like there's ever been a dip in the show, which is really rare for me because sometimes I do feel there's a dip, but I still enjoy the show. And yeah, just really love this show. And I started watching this. I was watching Modern Family, I think, from the end of season 1 and a little bit into season 2 or like almost to season 3. And then I saw this on TV right after I watched this. I could never go back to Modern Family. I just feel like Modern Family is, I applaud it for like its diversity and stuff like that, but I think this is far more funnier. But I think both shows are great. I just, personal opinion. And I'm not crapping on Modern Family because I think it's a good show. Just after I saw this one, I feel like this one's more my style. But I really like how Modern Family's dynamic is set up with the 3 families. I really enjoy that. But I think I just really like centering around one family and getting more scenes with them because I feel like sometimes when I was watching Modern Family, I want to hear more about one story over another sometimes. So it's kind of like the fighting in my mind of which story I want to hear about because I know they intermingle and stuff. So yeah, I just really enjoyed
One of my other favorite shows is The Mindy Project, and it's currently airing its 5th season. It's now on Hulu, but it ran on Fox for 3 seasons. And I believe it started up in 2012 or 11, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. I probably should have checked on that. And this centers around an OBGYN named Mindy, and it chronicles her work life, her home life, her dating life, everything. And she's a big fan of romantic comedies, and you can kind of see that sprinkled in the show. And this show is hilarious. I was just watching it last night with my cousin because she was watching the 4th season because she hadn't seen it yet. I'm completely caught up by this point. And I just like, I could rewatch it anytime. It's just a hilarious comedy. It goes by really fast. It's also a sitcom. And I didn't think I'd like this comedy. I did watch an episode of it when it first aired, and I wasn't really into it. Maybe it was the time I was watching it, or maybe just the age I was. But I just didn't get into it. And then it was on my Amazon recommended, so I went to go check it out. I bought the episode on iTunes, like the first one. And I really enjoyed it, and then I bought the seasons, and I kind of binge watched them. The next show is Gilmore Girls, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this one, obviously, because of the reboot, and it's just a really popular show. And it aired for 7 seasons from 2000 to 2007, and it chronicles the lives of Lorelai and Rory, her daughter, and them kind of living on their own, their relationships with her parents, and, you know, all this life events that start happening in this, like, it really just like a snowball effect from the first episode. And I really love this show. I wasn't sure my expectations at first when I saw like the cover too, because I'd never heard of it before I saw it in the DVD store like years ago. I think like 7 or 8 years ago, because I was 5 years old when this aired, so I wouldn't have heard about it because it wasn't really my demographic. But this show is so good. Me and my sister, when I first bought it, she wasn't really into it at first. Like she looked at the cover and like kind of was like, don't know if it'll be for me. But we both like, I was kind of like a little scared that it wasn't be for me because also I'm buying DVDs, you know, even though this was on sale originally, it's like if you don't like it, it's like it could be a waste of money. But my sister and me started watching the first episode and we got really hooked, and we watched it all that summer. And then the following summer we watched it again. I think we started watching it my summer between grade 9 and 10, and I'm in 4th year university, so that's kind of like perspective on how long it's been. And then the next summer we watched it again, and we haven't rewatched it since together, but we've watched episodes separately, and we watched the reboot together, and it was a lot of fun because we originally watched it together, so I wanted to make sure we managed to watch the reboot together. And the next show is the oldest one on my shelf, and it's the OC, which ran for 4 seasons from 2003 I think to 2007. And this one, I actually got this when I was 10. This is actually used. This is not me who did all this damage, but yeah, because it's like all like, if I tilted it over, all these would fall out. Like, it's a very clunky box. So eventually I'm going to probably upgrade it when I find like a really good sale in the first season, because it's just like really clunky, but at the same time it's nostalgic. I've had this one the longest. I started watching the show at 10. It was kind of, or 11 I think, yeah. And it was kind of inappropriate for me because, you know, I was so young and chronicles teenagers. But this one, I forgot to say what it chronicles. So basically it's about, like, it centers around Ryan at first, and he is a troubled youth. He has a really rough home life, and Sandy, the like main father of the show, he kind of helps Ryan out, and then Ryan ends up moving in with him and his son and wife, and it kind of goes from there. And then they have Marissa and Summer, and there's lots of different perspectives in this, but it's a really good show. Like, there's usually, what I hear online is like either people watch this show or One Tree Hill because they did air, I think, the same year or the year after each other. I think the same year though. Oh no, they aired the same year, but this aired I think in August and One Tree Hill aired in September. And there's people that are either like one or the other. One Tree Hill wasn't really available where I couldn't really, I don't remember ever seeing it where I live. Like it aired in Canada for sure, but I didn't see, like I must not maybe have the channel or something. But the OC, like just like so many good childhood memories. I got my sister watching it. She actually was watching it sometimes when I was watching it, and she was like 8 years old at the time, so she did not understand it all, but like even she's addicted to it. And I really like it, maybe because it's nostalgia purposes, but I think it's a really good show. Like it does have some rocky and rough points, but for the most part I really do enjoy it, and it's like something that's always going to have a place in my heart because it's like it's the first TV DVD I collected, and it's also like just a really short show to get through, and it has some really good
Next
episodes.
two shows I have in giant box sets, and the first one is Boy Meets World, and this show aired from 92, I believe, till 1999 or 2000. And this show has 7 seasons, and it's all about a boy named Corey and, you know, how he meets the world. It goes from Corey being in grade 6, I believe, to, I'm pretty sure they graduate college in this. I'm not sure if there's much after that. I keep forgetting where the timeline goes because, yeah, I just keep getting confused a bit. But this is one that's like, it's on TV quite a lot, and I watched this on TV when I was younger, before I collected this, obviously. I got this recently because I really wanted to rewatch it, but I used to watch this almost every single night when I was in middle school. It'd come on like 8 o'clock and on my channel, and I would just, like, I just loved it. It was on a lot during my childhood, and I think it still holds up, and it's still a really good show. And if it's a familiar title to you guys, I'm sure you know that the Girl Meets World, which, you know, it's just ending its 3rd season forever, like it's done. But that was like the reboot of this, which I did watch a few episodes of, but I really just like their lives. I didn't really care too much about the younger lives. I think maybe it's the age I am now that I just wasn't into it. But I just really love like the episodes. Like it's just hilarious. I love all the friendships, and it's just a really good show. And the last show on my list is actually Dawson's Creek, and I absolutely love this show. It's one of my faves, obviously because it's on this list, and it aired for 6 seasons from 1998 to 2004. And I have like the littler seasons, like 3 of the littler seasons. This one I have because it was cheaper for me to buy this than the last 3 seasons. So I'm just going to hold this because I forgot to bring down a little one. But this show is basically about a boy named Dawson, his friend Joey, his friend Pacey, and Jen, the new neighbor. And it chronicles their lives from, I think I've said chronicles so many times in this video. I'm very sorry about that, if that's annoying you. But basically it follows them from high school to grad and then post grad, and the finale actually goes 5 years into the future, so you get really a more look into their life. I wasn't super satisfied how it ended, partially because I have a very unpopular opinion. I'm actually Team Dawson. I know I like Pacey too, don't get me wrong. But regardless, I just really like the show. Watch these shows, let's have discussions in the comments down below, and yeah, just let's talk about them. And if you guys have any recommendations based on stuff that I've watched that you think I would enjoy, definitely let me know too. I'm always looking to add more TV shows to the ever-growing list of shows I want to check out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.